Hey everybody, it's Mr. X Stitch here, daily vlog. I want to give a shout out to Tom Newson, aka Captain DJ, who's been a recent follower on the site, but he and I have got to know each other a little bit, and he's a good guy. He's been around a while and he's been a stitcher for a long time, and for a short while in his life he was a pro baseball player. But then Crohn's disease got the better of that, and stitching has been a constant throughout his life, a way of helping him recover and be centered and stuff. And we've had some really interesting conversations, but he watched my video on should the back of your work be as tidy as the front a little while ago, and left the best comment ever. I just had to share the anecdote with you, and I apologize, Tom, for getting this wrong, but I can't look at it while I'm recording. But basically he was taking part in a stitching show about 20 years ago, submitted a piece of work, and a lady came up to him and was sort of said the back was very tidy, but it was a little bit bumpy, and how did he feel about that? And he said, well, I'm going to frame it so it doesn't really matter. And she was like, well, we'll still kind of know. And Tom paused for a minute, and then he looked at her shoes and he went, those are some very shiny shoes you've got there, but how do you feel about going out with them with the bottoms being all muddy? And she said, well, no one's going to see the bottom. And then was like, oh, I see what you mean. And I just thought that was the best. That is the best response I've ever heard to, what do you do with an untidy back of your work? Because that's just hilarious, really. It's a bit like, for a little while, I had a digitizing embroidery machine that could do cross stitch, and I would do a couple of shows and have this thing on display doing some cross stitch, and people would be like, isn't that cheating? Like doing cross stitch on a machine? And I was a bit like, do you still take your clothes down to the river and bash them with rocks to get the dirt out? Is that not cheating to be using a newfangled machine to do what was otherwise a monotonous hand task? Not that cross stitch is monotonous, but you get what I mean. But it's just funny. I'm going to hold on to that response, and somewhere down the line, if anybody ever asks me again about my work, if I ever did any work, that's what I'm going to use. So thanks, Tom. Thank you, Tom, for getting in touch, for sharing your adventures and everything. I just love hearing about people who've been stitching for a long time, and the various trials and tribulations. And I'm really hoping somewhere down the line to make contact with Rosie Greer. If anybody can help me on that side of the pond, he's a pastor. He's involved in various charitable foundations. I cannot find a way to get in contact with Rosie Greer directly at all, but I kind of want to interview him. I'd like to meet him, but that's going to be difficult. But, guy's a legend. He's a personal hero of mine, and I'd love to, just chat to him about his backstory and stuff like that. So if any of you can help me at all, if you know anyone who knows Rosie Greer, that would be fantastic. Thanks, everybody. I'll catch you on the next one. I love you. Bye.